morning or afternoon or evening or middle of the night, depending on when you're watching this recording. Thanks for joining us for this installment in our Small Business Spotlight series. My name is Bruce. I am a certified business advisor here with the Small Business Development Center at Columbus State Community College. And this is an ongoing series where we take an opportunity to meet with a small business owner and discuss what it means to start and run your own small business. So the challenges, the rewards, and all of those joyous things in between. Our guest today is Esther Salata of Benesafe Solutions. Hi, Esther. Thanks for joining us.
Hey, thanks for having me, Bruce. I'm excited to be here to share my story.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to talking about your great experience. So give us talk about your product. It's Benesafe Solutions. What is that, and what does it do?
So we manufacture and sell a plant-based pesticide spray for your yard and garden. Our product is plant-based, which means that it has very few ingredients that make it safe for people, pets, and the environment. So this is our product right here. It's a yard and garden spray. You attach it to your hose, you spray your backyard, and then you can enjoy your backyard with your friends and family and your pets without being bothered by mosquitoes.
Excellent. So what led you to develop this product and start your own business?
So this business was started from a need. As you can see, my husband's in the back here. We spend a lot of time outside, and when we were spending time outside with our friends and family, we were getting bit up by mosquitoes. And when we were using sprays on ourselves, we were using thermocells, candles, nothing seemed to solve the problem. So we thought, let us figure out a way to treat our yard to treat the problem. And when we went to our local hardware stores, we couldn't find products that we felt comfortable applying in our yard with the ingredients that were in the product. So we decided from there to create our own product using, our skills and research, and that's how we created the product.
Okay, excellent. And your product is on my shopping list. Actually, I was looking at the website earlier this morning and to try to find a store nearby where I could buy it. And there are a handful of stores in Columbus. So you've already managed to not just sell your product online, but you're selling it in stores as well. So that's a great accomplishment.
Thank you.
Touch on that later. So when did you start this business? How long has this been up and running?
So we started this business in 2020 is when the idea came about, and that was during the pandemic when we were spending time outside. And I was working full time. So at the time, we had the idea, and I said to my husband, no, I'm not doing this. I'm working full time. How do I have time to start a business? I don't know anything about it. The next step was then I got laid off a few months later, about 6 months later, and that's when we decided to start the business. That was in 2021, and that's really what got the business going. Is getting laid off from my job and thinking, okay, what do I do now?
Okay, so you saw it as an opportunity then. So this was pandemic was going on. How did the pandemic work with what you were doing? Did it help or hurt, or?
So I believe that the pandemic helped in my ability to spend time, because you couldn't do anything during the pandemic. You couldn't go out, on Saturdays or evenings. Like, you were in your house all the time. And I used that opportunity to do as much research as possible on ingredients, products that are out there, the market, and those months where we started the business and having the pandemic be there at the same time really helped create that foundation for the business.
Okay. So what was your first step? Did you just jump right into selling it? How did you approach planning your business?
Yeah, so the first step in starting the business, we were in Pennsylvania at the time, was to go to the library, the local public library, and pick up a book on how to start a small business in Pennsylvania. That was step number one. And then the next step was to speak to people who had started businesses that we knew, and we pitched them the idea. They said, you have to start a business with this idea because we don't know of any other business that is doing this. So, getting people that were in business to kind of approve of our idea, encourage us about our idea. And then the next step was to go to SCORE, where I was set up with a mentor, and the mentor helped us create a business plan and execute the business from there.
Okay. How did you approach, manufacturing, packaging, commercializing your product is one thing. To have an idea, how do you expand it into a real product that people can buy?
Yeah, I think that's the hardest part, is that bridge between having the idea to creating the product, actually, because there's so many steps that go into that process that you don't think of. So the first step is for us was to figure out what ingredients we wanted to use. And to source those ingredients, we looked at different options, and I could tell you from year one, now we're in year 3, we don't use the same suppliers of the products of where we're getting our ingredients. It's just something you learn along the way. So yeah, buying in smaller quantities in terms of like actually getting bottles. We did a lot of research to figure out which companies actually sold bottles like this, and also figured out where to get, the tops to the bottles, which this was the hardest part of the business. These are only manufactured by one manufacturer in the US. So yeah, it was difficult and it took time, but at that time we had the time to make those phone calls, to do the research, and we've learned, like I said, after 3 years, about different manufacturers to source our materials from. But yeah, you start small and then just grow from there.
Okay. So it is a learning process. You didn't just throw out business cards and suddenly you were in business. And so there's a learning curve. It takes time.
Yeah, there's a huge learning curve, especially for someone like me, who my background's in environmental education, conservation, and also workforce development. I never thought I would own a business. I don't have any close family or friends that own businesses. So yeah, this is just everything was new for me and continues to be new for me still in year 3.
Yeah. Compared to your expectations, did it take longer? Was it quicker? Was it cheaper or more expensive than you expected?
So it was quicker. We were able to have the idea, do the research, and create the product, order all the supplies to make the product in about 3 months. So we had the idea and then had the product ready to be sold within 3 months, which is actually pretty crazy.
Very fast, right?
Yeah, to a quick turnaround. But we had a lot of help and with mentors, and that's how we were able to do it. In terms of the cost, I think the cost for everyone is probably, I think the similar situation. You make a table, you go over the numbers, and you have this cost, and then you forget about insurance fees or accountant fees and like all these other things. So I think at the end of the day, you definitely have to invest more than what you might think you need to invest. I would always tell people that, that's just a ballpark number, but it's probably going to be more.
Yeah, you got those hidden costs in there, everything from, your cell phone, like you said, your insurance, your labels, all these things you don't think about, your graphic designer, your website host, your registrar.
Yep.
Bits and pieces. And it does take longer. Cost more than you expect. So
yes.
And then I think it's important that you point out that you had other people involved. So even though it was your idea and your husband were crafting this product, there were so many other people involved. You had mentors, you had existing relationships, so you weren't isolated.
Yes.
It's important to recognize your team.
Yeah, definitely. I had a great friend that helped us with all the photography, videography. He's an amateur photographer, and he's like, I'd be happy to do this. This is so exciting. I had a friend whose relative was in graphic design, and at that time when you start a business, like those are the people that you rely on, because you can't pay a big marketing firm or like a big time graphic designer to create your labels for your product. You have to rely on people who are willing to help at a more affordable price, because you're a small business.
So just like children, it takes a village to raise a business, right?
100% agree.
um, so what motivates you and keeps you passionate about your business? Not every day is all sunshine and roses and butterflies. So how do you keep going?
Yeah, what motivates me the most about the business is our customers. Having people who find us through social media, word of mouth, or buy our product at a store that they look at our bottle and find it interesting, so they buy it. Then having those customers write 5-star Google reviews about their experience on our product, it just makes me keep going because I don't know. I think it's incredible to get someone who's a stranger. It's not your mom's friend that's writing the review. It's really a stranger that, took a chance, purchased your product, and you convinced them that it was a good product and that it worked. We had a customer that wrote that she hasn't been able to spend time outside in her backyard with her dogs for 4 years because of the mosquitoes. She hated mowing her yard and spending time out there. She'd just go out, mow, come back. She sprayed Benesafe and she was able to actually sit on her patio. So hearing those kinds of stories from our customers motivate me to keep going.
So you created a product that does what it says, and you're realizing the pleasure of bringing that to other people. So we'll often talk to clients about the importance of identifying an unsolved problem. So you did exactly that and brought that solution to the marketplace. So. And I have to say, yes, we can enjoy our backyard only until it starts to get dark and cool, and then we got to go inside because the mosquitoes will just drain us. We can't be out there. So I'm looking forward to the opportunity to be in that yard that we pay for and mow once a week. So what do you like most about operating your own small business, and what do you like least about operating your own business?
Yeah, so I thought about this question a lot. I think what I like most about being a small business owner is that my schedule is flexible and I create my own schedule for the most part. What I like least about being a solopreneur, I'm the only one that runs Benesafe, is that you have this almost like guilt associated with not having a full packed schedule all the time. And you always think like, okay, I have a free hour, a free couple hours. I should be doing work for the small business because you become your business, as a small business owner. And I think, that is what I find. What I like least about the business is sometimes, it could be hard to separate yourself from the business in that matter,
Good. I'm going to look at my questions here. How do you balance your personal life with being a business owner?
That is what I am still trying to figure out now in my life, because it's a home-based business and because, my face is on the websites, on the social media, it is on our new bottle. You become your business. And so your identity changes from being like who you were before the business to who you are now as the business owner. And I think I've been working really hard. I haven't perfected this by any means, but I'm working hard on, separating the two so that my social and my professional life are different.
Okay, so it's an ongoing.
It's an ongoing
challenge.
process for sure, and I'm sure other business owners can relate. I can't. I need to yell at my husband right now.
Tell everybody he's out there spraying your product on the yard right as we speak.
Yeah, doing something.
He's your new mascot. It used to be Benny, now it's your husband. So,
Yeah.
So you do a fabulous job of being present everywhere, and I don't know how you do it. So sometimes I wonder, if you have an identical twin or two, because I see you in the news, I'll see you on my LinkedIn feed, on events with other agencies here in Columbus. So you're really busy promoting your product. So can you give us an idea about, what is your approach to marketing and social media and establishing that presence?
So my approach to marketing is like I love networking with people, and I understand the importance of networking as a business owner. And you're talking about like me getting on these other places. It's really been me being at an event or, to share Benesafe, to share the business. Then someone from that event says, hey, I have another event. Or can we feature you in our magazine or publication? And it's been through networking that I've gotten all these other like little things. So I do run around a lot. There's no other twin. There's just me. I wish I had a twin. It's a lot of hard work. It's not easy, but the only way to tell people about your business is to go out there and talk about your business. And I'm learning how to manage that and talk to people about it, and to talk to the right people who are able to control the social media to be like, yeah, sure, we'll post your business on our socials, those kinds of things. So my advice to people who also would like to get that recognition is to just go to events and talk to people, and each person you talk to introduces you to more people, and that's one step closer to getting your name out there. That's networking.
Okay. I'm really glad you put it exactly that way. So it's not, you've established a website and you're offering a thing and expecting people to happen upon it and buy it. So you are out there actually aggressively promoting your brand and your product, and not resting on your laurels. So when you have a good month, you're not just letting that happen, you're continuing that momentum. So it's ongoing. You're building a brand.
Yeah, it's continuous. If there's an opportunity in Columbus to share about your small business, I have taken that opportunity, or I'm going to take that opportunity,
And I believe every word of that. I know you will. So in terms of, what you have witnessed as a small business owner and working with other small businesses, what do you think the biggest challenge is for small businesses today?
I think it goes back to a small business has a limited budget. So, in terms of getting your word out, you're really relying on yourself and your network. We don't have a marketing budget where people are going out there and professionally like spreading the word about your business. We don't have a sales team as a small business to go out there and sell. It's just you. And I think, that is really difficult as a small business.
Okay.
And even like selling on a platform like Amazon as a small business, for us specifically, because we manufacture, sell, and distribute our product, it's hard for us to even get on platforms like that, because they take such a large portion of the margin for the product. So yeah, there are a lot of barriers that small businesses have to growing to be a large business. However, I do think there are a lot of resources like your organization that helps small businesses and get them to a point where they're sustainable.
Okay. Yeah, and we love what we do, and we love our clients. So no 2 days are alike. No two clients are alike. So you touched on channels of distribution. So can you talk a little bit about how you selected where you were going to be selling? I know you are online and you're through some retailers. How did you make that decision?
Yeah, so we initially started the business during COVID. We thought we would just sell on our online store. And then through networking, we met people, or I met people that said, hey, we have a friend that owns a doggy daycare. They also have a retail space. Your product would be great in that retail space. Then go sell there. And then that person says, hey, I have a friend that owns a nursery. Your product would be great in that nursery. So through networking, we were able to change our business from just online to be in retail space. And through networking is how we got into our landscape account too. So when we started, we thought we would just have this product, which is for the homeowner, DIY, smaller yards. And then we met someone whose significant other worked in a landscape company, and met them through doggy events. And they said, hey, you might be interested in using your product. And we met with him. He said, I would be interested in using your product as a natural alternative to harsh chemical pesticides. We have customers that are willing to pay more for products like this. Can you make us a product that's big enough for us? And as a small business owner, you do not say no. You say, yes, I could do that, and then figure out a way how to do it. And that's like how the business has kind of evolved. Is where online sales are still our mainstream for sales. Then comes retailers, vendors, and fairs. We go to some events, local events, and then landscape companies too.
Okay, all right. So does that give you the ability to prioritize marketing efforts?
Yeah, so for our marketing efforts, we really market to the homeowner who likes to spend time outside, who possibly has a family or a pet. You know, our marketing efforts aren't really directed to those retailers or landscape companies, more just the, you know, the DIY homeowner.
Okay. Can you talk a little bit about your target market? Not that you have to explain them, but this is often a challenge for a small business owner, is identifying their target market. And we typically will bring an idea to a market because we're passionate about it, or we like it or want to share it, but somebody has to want to buy it, and that's the target market. So can you explain the importance of understanding your target market to everything your business does?
Yeah, so I would say number one is do market research on your industry, your product. So what we did was we looked up, okay, how does the industry look for pesticides? What about natural pesticides? And what we found that with an increase in global temperature, there's an increase overall globally in like mosquitoes and other like tick-borne illnesses. And with people getting more educated on sustainability, more people like millennials are interested in natural products versus the synthetic pesticides that have currently been used for a long time. So that research showed us that there is a increase in the number of people that are interested in this type of product. There's a big growth in this type of product in the market. So you have to get that research done. You know, it wasn't, if it said that it wasn't a good idea, the market was trending downwards to our idea, we probably would not have gone through with it. But I think it's so important to do that research, make sure there's a need for your product. And in terms of who we market to, I did a lot of, with business mentors, you do the work where you create an avatar of who is your ideal customer. And when you create content and marketing materials, you pitch to that ideal customer who is very specific. So yeah, that's what I would say is do that market research, make sure there's a need for your product, and then you have to create that ideal customer and then try to sell to that customer through whatever your materials are.
Really well said. It is difficult to identify a target market because very often the product comes before the problem. So here's the thing, now we're going to go look for the people that we're going to solve a problem for. So you had the idea, and then you took a holistic approach to exploring what problem you were solving. So you were talking about the people involved and their behaviors, their beliefs, their interests. You talked about the ecology, the environment. So it was so much bigger than just demographics, how much they make and what zip code they live in. So
yeah, you have to get into their mindset. They're not the customer that's going to, Home Depot and buying the $10 or $12 pesticide spray that's cheap, that's going to get the job done. This is a customer that's going to actually take time to look at the ingredients and say, okay, I have a dog that's running outside. My 3-year-old eats the grass outside. They are customers that are aware of what goes on in their yard, inside and outside the house, and they don't want a product that could potentially be harmful, and they're educated and they're willing to pay a higher price for a product that won't cause any harm.
Nice. Thanks for sharing that. I love that you put the whole picture together, not just the little person piece. It was the environment that they live in and their expectations. And what do you wish everybody knew about being a small business owner?
So this is a question I thought about a lot too. I don't think a lot of people, I wish people knew how hard it was to be a business owner, and how, for me, it's the hard part is that it is a very lonely experience as someone who's a solopreneur. And I think that's like something that I keep going back to, and that I struggle with at times, and I do have mentors that help me, but as a business owner, it can be hard. And when, you're sitting around with your friends that are talking about their 9-to-5 job, when you do talk to them about your business, it's almost like they look at you like deer in the headlights, because they cannot relate to you doing marketing, sales, website. Like I'm doing everything in the business. And I think that's really hard. And I would advise people to get a group of friends or have mentors that you speak to often that have shared experiences, so that you have that person to talk to about what you're going through, because it can be a lonely journey at times.
Yeah, I can see that. And I think where it's beneficial to have some networking opportunities. So you're getting out there, connecting with other small business owners and sharing that experience. So you don't have cocktail hour with your 9-to-5ers and they don't get it. So you can do that.
Yep.
What was the most surprising thing you learned about being a small business owner? Is it the same thing? Is it something different? Something you had no idea was in the pipeline?
What is something that I learned? The surprising thing that I've learned, right?
Yeah.
I have learned how nice people are. Like I said earlier, getting people that are strangers to buy your product and to then like shout it from the rooftops. I don't know. I've learned to just appreciate people more, as a small business owner. And yeah, I think it's a great thing to learn that.
Nice. What do you believe it takes to run a successful small business?
Okay, so there are a few skills that you definitely need as a small business owner. Time management is huge, because you could spend all day doing one thing if you let it take up your whole day. So you need that time management. You need to have, on my calendar, I have almost every hour marked with whatever I'm doing. And make sure you take time to go to the gym, spend time outside during that time. So time management is great. Attention to detail, reading contracts and making sure, that you are paying attention to what you are writing, what you are printing, what you are sharing out there is really important. Organization is key too, because you get a lot of papers and you need to be able to file it, and also store documents on your your computer, your drive. That's a huge skill to have. And the next biggest skill is networking. You need to be able to get out there and be comfortable talking to people in a room where you've never met anyone. You need to be able to get out there and say, hey, my name is so-and-so and I own this business and we do this. What do you do? So yeah, networking is key. So those are my 4 things that I think are needed to run a business.
Well, thanks. You're kind of touching on, we're born consumers. That's what we do. And we spend our lives being consumers. And when we become business owners, then suddenly we have to shift our perspective. We are the business. And where we're also typically very compartmentalized in what we do for a living, we go to work and we handle contract negotiations all day long, or we make widgets all day long. And once you become a business owner, you're responsible for all of that: HR, marketing, insurance, finance. So you kind of touching on all of the skills that make that possible. If you can't manage your time, you can't manage all of these roles. So nice, concise way to explain, that you get to do all of it. So what tools and resources allows you to run your business more easily or more efficiently?
So the 4 tools that I use a lot are, well, Shopify is needed for our website, for our store. So Shopify is what we use to sell on. QuickBooks for all our accounting is great tool for any small business. You can get that through your accountant. Canva is a tool that is incredible. You get the 1-year subscription. Instead of paying someone to do your marketing and social media, it is so easy to create on Canva. I promise you, anyone can do it. Someone with no marketing background can do it. And then another tool that I use is I use Gmail. I use, the Drive all the time to share documents, to store documents, to, create blog posts, all of those things. So Gmail has been a great resource as well.
Okay. So you're really describing a structure that you build your business on, and it automates a lot of your processes. So it makes the maximum use of your time. QuickBooks is really popular. We hear a lot about that. It has a great presence. Can you talk about QuickBooks? What was it like adopting QuickBooks? Was it your first choice? Was it easy to start? Is it easy to use?
We didn't, QuickBooks was just something that our accountant used. So we didn't really shop around for other options. I find it really easy to use, to get reports, to get information that you need for your business.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a pretty easy to use software.
Okay. Did your accountant set that up for you?
Yes.
Okay. All right.
And that's what they use when it's tax season, they just look at our QuickBooks.
Okay. The setup can sometimes be an issue. So if your accountant handles that for you,
okay,
that investment is worthwhile.
Good.
And I know we didn't talk about this before, but on QuickBooks, one of the great benefits of QuickBooks is your financial reports. So do you check in on those and, check to see how well the business is doing and, help you make decisions?
Yeah, I check in on those. And also with applying for different, certifications as a minority woman-owned business, you have to continue to watch your reports because that's something that they take into account. I just applied for an accelerator through the city of Columbus, and again, they asked for our numbers. So yeah, QuickBooks is just an easy way to get that information. It's up to date, and yeah, to provide that information because you will need that information throughout the course of your business.
Okay. So would you recommend using Excel instead?
Excel is hard because you have to manually put in, if something is paid. QuickBooks is linked to your bank account and your credit card. So any money and, our Shopify too. So any money going in and out is recorded on QuickBooks.
Excellent.
So yeah, maybe not for Excel. I love Excel for other things.
Right. Okay. That's our go-to when we're talking about numbers. So, yeah, Excel's not good for your budget, right? So how does the reality of running a small business compare to your expectations?
I had zero expectations when starting the business because I had no experience running the business. I didn't see my parents running a business. A lot of people that start businesses have friends or family that they saw running a business and said, hey, I'm used to this kind of lifestyle. I could do this. For me, it just was all new. So, and it was difficult because we started the business in Pennsylvania, then moved to Ohio after starting the business. So, my expectations for the business were something different in Pennsylvania, and they've evolved to something else here in Columbus. So there are no expectations that you should have because life just throws you different things all the time. You just need to be able to, you should have an idea and goals, but I personally did not have, I had expectations, but they were quickly changed with the move and other things.
Okay. So you were open to those changes. So you recognized opportunities and maximized that potential. So
you
you
have
weren't
to be
rigid.
changed. Yeah, exactly. You have to be open to changes that you have no control over. So yeah, you have to
Like,
adapt. I mean, that's also with life too.
like getting the right bottles and the wrong labels, right?
Yep.
Um, so funding, this is always popular. So funding a business, a startup is a challenge. So how did you manage this? And then how are you funding business growth?
So our business is currently self-funded. So any money that we make through the business, we just reinvest it in the business. And that's how we've been continuing on with the business. Maybe we will get to a point where we apply for a grant or a loan to scale up the business. But for now, because we are so small, we chose to make sacrifices to be debt-free and self-funded.
Okay, excellent. And it's an important point because there's a tendency to believe that the business will be not just self-sustaining from the start, but that it will generate a profit. So, the business owner can focus on that business. Can you speak to that? What was your approach? Did you expect that, or did you have more realistic expectations?
So of course, you expect the best when you start something new. And you also, yeah, but like I said, life is always changing. We did not expect to kind of restart the business in a different state after starting and establishing the business and getting clients and getting into retailers in Pennsylvania. So yeah, what I would say is just be open and flexible and be okay with not making a profit for a while, because that's just the realistic, that's just what happens in business.
Well,
I always
thank you.
think back to, I'm a big Office fan, and Michael Scott decided to start his own business, and Oscar tells him, are you able to not have a salary for the first 5 years? And that always plays back in my head, because I'm like, it's true. Like, Oscar was a very real accountant that told him the facts, and I did not know I would start a business. I heard that clip so long ago, but it's true. As a business owner, instead of getting a salary, you get money from your business, but you just say, no, I want to put that back in the business. Let's order more of this. Let's get a graphic designer to create this for us instead. So I would encourage people to be real with themselves and to know that this might not be something where there's exponential growth for a little while.
Would you say that your business is evolving as time goes by, and you build momentum?
Yeah, for sure. Our business is, getting new customers. It's funny, when we first started, our customers were our friends and family, or, you see the orders come in, you're like, oh, that's my friend from high school, or, and it's to the point now where the majority of our customers are people where they're strangers. They're seeing us on social media, or they met us at an event. And I think, it's so great to see that evolution of your business. We honestly, I remember making our product in our basement, the first batch, and we were like, haha, wouldn't that be funny if people actually bought our product? And now we've sold over 1,000 units of our product, and we're like, oh my gosh, we've sold, this amount, which is huge for us when you create something and you think, who's going to buy this? So, yeah.
So now your bottles are sitting in complete strangers' garages.
Yeah.
New, right? So how do you manage and allocate your budget? Do you use software for this? I'm assuming you go back to QuickBooks.
Yeah, we use QuickBooks, and that's what I would say is we use QuickBooks.
How do you make those decisions, though, when you have a limited amount of money, as you said earlier? How do you decide where you're going to reinvest that money?
Okay, so I wrote about this. So what we do is, in terms of deciding what to spend money on, we when we started the business and started here in Ohio, we kind of were like, let's just spend money on all these different things and let's see what has a good, payback for what we have done. And I think it's important to do that exploration, to put money towards things that you want to just see if they work or not. And that might not be like sound business strategy, but that's what we did. And then through that, we have now figured out what we actually want to allocate our funds to. It might not be the best idea to sit in an event for 5 hours and pay $400 to be a vendor there when we don't get as much sales from that. We'd rather spend that $400 on social media ads or something else that could have a bigger benefit for us.
Right.
And that's something you learn. Mm-hmm.
You're describing a scientific process. You establish your hypothesis and test it, and then assess your outcome, and then change a variable and go back and keep doing that until you get the results that you want. So I think it's really important. We expect to immediately walk out with a concrete plan, and this is how we're going to implement it, and this is how it will work. And it doesn't. So then we change everything, and then it doesn't work, and we change everything and it works, and now we don't know what part of that change worked.
Yes.
So you can't recreate it. You're out of luck. So you guys you took that approach. That's nice.
Yeah, definitely. And it's continuously changing. Like something that might have worked last year might not work this year, and that's what's tough. We just you just learn as you go. And you have to have that kind of open mindset to just learn as you go, and things aren't going to be as planned.
Yeah.
And you can cry about it. It's okay to cry about it, but as long as you move on after you do that, it's fine.
That's important. Just that moment to cry. And it just goes back to your holistic approach. So you aren't just looking at a single piece. It's the big picture. What influences are we looking at? Is it weather? Is it the economy? There's so much more at play here. So not just this little piece of the pie.
Yes.
So can you describe how you manage your customer relationships?
So I like to have a quick turnaround with customer needs in terms of processing an order. Customer places an order, it is processed that day or the next day. And Shopify takes care of a lot of that communication with customers. So, if a customer places an order, they get an automatic email, thank you for placing the order. When the order is shipped, they get an email. After the order is delivered, they get an email. And then 2 weeks after, they get an email. So that was important to create that process to keep the customers engaged. And in terms of communicating with customers as well, our social media, I try to respond as soon as possible to any, messages we have on social media. Requests, anything like that. I try to be responsive, and I think customers appreciate knowing that you are there to answer questions and you're there to serve them. And I think that's the beauty of a small business, is that you're the face of the business, and also you have the power to influence customers.
You're spot on. It's one of the reasons we like small businesses it's that one-on-one relationship. It's not we're buying something from a big box store and we have no idea who makes up the board that's behind the decisions that led to this product. So it's you, and we have that relationship. And points that you touched on, and you touched on all of these through our conversation, is the importance of processes. So you've established the structure to deliver this product or service, your product rather, and then the importance of engagement and responsiveness. So going out there and being engaged and talking about your product and connecting with other people. I love that you have a feedback loop in there. So you're collecting that feedback. Here you have a product. What did you think? So it isn't the end of the sale, isn't when the product was delivered. The sale process is still going on. You're still marketing your product to your customers. So you want to know, were they satisfied? How do you incorporate feedback?
into our product.
Yeah, or into your business model, your processes, or your marketing. Do you find the feedback is valuable? I mean, at this point, I'm guessing you have great reviews. So,
yeah, well, with the feedback, we try to market the feedback that we get, whether it's good reviews or if it's a customer that asked a question, how do you use this product, or what time of the day should I use this product? That's kind of what we also try to put in our socials, is answering those customer questions, because we know there are other customers out there, sharing what the customer's experience was with our product. And what we do is, Bruce, you're buying Benesafe. What we encourage a lot of our customers to do is take a picture of our bottle next to your dog outside, and we post that so that engagement continues to stay on. I mean, how proud do you feel when you see your dog on the face of a website, or, so yeah, that we continue to engage and keep our customers happy in any way we can.
nice, good. Business owners invest a lot of themselves in their businesses, which makes delegating tasks difficult. You're a one-woman show at this point, so do you delegate? And if so, how do you approach that challenge?
Yeah, and this is a funny question because I'm a great delegator. You can ask my husband. I'm very task-oriented too, so I don't have a problem delegating, which is good. And I think it's also a skill. Like, I don't have a problem delegating, but also organizing how to, and prioritizing which tasks to do first. I did have interns that I worked with for a bit through Otterbein, which is a great experience. And that really helped me, understand how to manage and organize and create tasks for other people to help with the business. And that was a great experience. And yeah, I invest a lot in creating lists so that I can get everything done when I need to.
Yeah, lists. And I don't know about anybody else, but the older I get, the more important lists are. Yeah. Otherwise, I'm standing in Kroger trying to figure out, what was I here for?
Yeah.
This is a wasted trip. And we didn't talk about this, but can you give us a sense of what skills you developed? What about being, in corporate America helped you do what you're doing now? And I ask that question because we'll often hear people say, well, I don't know how to run a small business. I've only been working for X, Y, and Z for 20 years. Or when so much of what they were doing is applicable, it's just they don't know how to apply it.
Yeah, you have to find those transferable skills. So for me, I had two main jobs. I was an environmental educator at different parks, so county, state, national parks, where I would literally be in front of a group of, say, 50 park visitors who had no idea who I was. And I had to talk to them about why it was important to conserve the natural resources of the park. And I would do a walking guided tour of the park, interactive, all those things. So through that experience, teaching people from pre-K to seniors, people with special needs, I had the ability to talk to any type of person and the ability to educate them about something and potentially change their behavior. And then with my job in workforce development, I spent a lot of time networking with business owners and people that were looking to get employed. I learned skills on, networking and how to be professional and how to write emails and all those things. And so I truly believe that both of my work experiences combined have made me the business owner that I am today. I'm able to pitch to Benesafe, talk to people, educate people, and I'm also able to be professional and strategically network for the benefit of the business.
So we're often better prepared for an opportunity than we think we are. We just need to have the confidence to go out there and make it happen.
Yeah, and believe me, there have been so many times, and there still continues to be times where I walk into the room with such successful local business owners, and they have these amazing ideas, and they're pitching to get, millions of dollars worth of, investments. And here I am like, hey, I'm selling a bug spray for your backyard. I mean, there are times where my confidence is not as high as I want it to be, but I go out there and do what I do, and the fact that I'm doing something that's so different to what other people are doing, I think that sets me apart as a business owner. And I encourage you, whoever's listening, who is interested in looking to start a business, is to figure out what kind of makes you unique. What's your story that you could share that can make your product unique?
Mm-hmm. That's really important. I think of it as, walking through the storm. Very often what we want is on the other side of that storm. And it is so easy when we're facing it to just say, all right, I'm not going to do this, or I'm not qualified, or I'm not capable, or it's not a good idea, instead of just actually walking through the storm and achieving what's on the other side and realizing, oh, well, that storm wasn't so bad. I mean, it was fine. I handled it. So, pushing yourself.
Definitely, you have to. And that's what I felt like going into my first pitch event, and then going into the second, third, fourth, like all these different ones. You get more confident, but you have to, go over that first hurdle.
Yeah, thank you. Couple last questions here. Predictability is a degree of predictability, I'll say, is a hallmark of a 9-to-5 gig. So you probably don't have a lot of predictability running a small business. So can you give a sense of what does a day look like in Esther's life running Benesafe Solutions?
Yeah, so a day is different. Every single day is different, but overall there is a component of, sitting on the computer, going through emails and following up with people, vendors, potential, stores, retailers. Then there's time that you spend on Canva creating the material that you're going to use for your socials for the next 2 weeks or so. There's also, processing orders, packaging them, going to the UPS store. There's meetings like this, I would say I do. I have meetings that are, Zoom meetings quite often during the week, and, making time for those is important. So those are all things that I do during every week to continue to run my business, and attending at least, my thing is at least 1 to 2 networking events each month. Before it was like, 5 or 6 each month, but now 1 or 2 is doable. And
yeah, you still need some you time, right? And time to appreciate that beautiful backyard your husband makes possible.
Yeah, definitely make time for yourself. And that's what I'm saying. I started off like really strong, like going to every networking event that was available in Columbus. And now I'm at the point where I'm like, okay, I've done that. I've made my connections. The business can run without me running everywhere.
Right. So it's got 2 minutes till, and I want to be respectful of your time. You are busy, and I know you've got appointments following this one. So how can our viewers learn more about your business and your product?
So to learn more about Benesafe Solutions, you can go to our website, www.benesafesolutions.com. That's BENESAFE solutions.com. I didn't say this, but created the product because I wanted to keep my dog Benny safe, hence the name Benesafe. You can also follow us on social media. We're on Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, at Benesafe Solutions. We have a lot of great content. It's entertaining, it's exciting. So please follow us on social media too to learn about, our product. But you can purchase online or find it in a local store.
Okay, excellent. And in Columbus, because I'm going out to do that this evening. So where can I get your products here in Columbus?
Where are you located?
Worthington.
Okay. Did you check the map?
I dropped into chat here, so I'll hop on there and find it.
Yeah. Okay. Check the map, and if you go to the Ace in Worthington, we're not yet in that Ace store, so you could always go there. And I always encourage people to advocate for us as a small business. Hey, we know about this business. We know that it's in other stores and it's doing well. we would love to see this in your store because we come to your store. It's a local business. So
Thank you. Yeah, I appreciate that. So Esther, thanks for taking an hour out of your busy schedule to be here. I really appreciate it. I enjoyed our conversation. And I hope all of our viewers did. I can't imagine that they didn't. If they didn't, I don't think they were paying attention. So.
Well, thank you so much for this opportunity, Bruce. I'm happy to be here, and thank you for sharing my story.
Yeah, my pleasure. For everyone here watching, this is a monthly event that we do, our Small Business Spotlight. If you want some more information on this program, you can visit our website at sbdccolumbus.com. And we also have a small business breakthrough that we do each month, which is focused on providing small businesses with management insight. So 2 great programs I encourage everyone to participate in. And with that, it's exactly 1 o'clock, 60 minutes on the dot. So we will wrap things up. Esther, thanks again for being here. It was a pleasure.
Thank you so much. And thanks everyone for joining.